I talked about last week was AEW and the firing of CM Punk. And go back in the archive and look at episode 1 if you want to hear about that. But whenever you fire, for those of you who don't know, AEW made a show called Collision that was based all around CM Punk and, you know, a philosophy of professional wrestling. People that like this revolution, quote unquote, this cosplay, flippy floppy, you know, New Japan style wrestling can watch Dynamite on Wednesdays. People who actually want real pro wrestling, who don't want to watch a 68-man tournament for a meaningless belt. People who want to watch actual wrestling, love drama, love angles, love big matches, can watch Collision. Well, they fired CM Punk. So what happens to Collision? Its viewership plummets in just a week. I want to say these were ratings before they fired Punk, so they're going to get even worse, but down to what's considered a 0.1 rating, I want to say. This is absolutely atrocious. I think AEW fans think that they've started some kind of counter-revolution, but that everyone in the wrestling world hates them and no one believes in them. But the fact is, you need to have a likable show so people will watch it and advertisers will spend money with you, or else the network, TNT, is going to kick you off the air, which is what's going to eventually happen, and they're just in denial about it. You got that one. I don't know if you can see this. You got this tweet. CM Punk, Ricky Starks, they're in an angle with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and now what? You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to talk about that briefly, that AEW, they're run by billionaires, so I don't know. They probably have unlimited money and shit like that, but I'm not watching this shit. And then as far as WWE goes, because I can hear someone that's going to say, oh, you never talk about WWE. It's like, you won't catch me talking about WWE that much. Because I can't hate on them, but it's just not for me. But at least they're running a professional wrestling company, which today is the first day, I think. I don't know the facts, but I know there's this TKO thing, I believe it's called, where Vince McMahon has sold some of the rights or all the rights, I don't know, to WWE, to the people that run UFC or some shit. I'm not equipped to go too deep into the facts about that. But something that hits a little closer to home for me is Disobey. For those of you who don't know, what Disobey is, it's a entity that saved my life in some ways. I knew a wrestler by the name of JTM, that guy right there, and I noticed that in 2020, late 2020, I noticed that he wasn't what he used to be. The wrestling world, the independent wrestling world, was no longer honoring him the way they once were. I mean, he was the fighting champion. He was the first ever SEC title holder. Look at here. This is just a great spot right here. Whoa! So, anyways, I formed Disobey, just like it sounds, with JTM, along with his brothers Simon Phillips and Risen Brandon Collins. We proceeded the last 2 years to take over the independent professional wrestling world. There's been nothing like us. They've tried to oppress us everywhere we've gone, these guys are true sons of a preacher. They're real Christians and stuff like that. But whenever JTM got screwed years ago by Pro Wrestling 225 management, his cross that he's always been known for was converted into a target. And that was no bullshit. He went on a tear. Him and his brothers went on a tear to take over the wrestling world. And fast forward to a couple months ago, and Pro Wrestling 225 Tag Team Champions, CWF in Milton, Florida Tag Team Champions, Gulf State Wrestling Tag Team Champions, as well as the CWF Heavyweight title holder, Defiant Simon Phillips. We have been going strong for about 2 years. Nobody can touch us. They told us, hey man, don't bring those crosses to this show. We don't want to offend people. We bring them anyways, and we sell out of them. They said, hey man, we don't really like the kind of content you're putting out. You're being a little too real with people. Like, they want you to, blur the lines a little more. You're blurring them a little too blurry. Can you make them a little bit more easy to understand? The kids might be scared. The parents might not like the type of content that you're putting out and how you're representing yourself, and then they're going to get pissed and not come to shows anymore. Just as we expected. Whenever I was a little kid, I used to go to detention because of the DX. Suck it. I used to tell kids to suck it, and then I would get put in detention. And exactly, I said that same thing's going to happen with Disobey. All these kids are going to want to disobey because they're tired of that same old fucking John Cena, Marvel comic, fucking hoity-toity bullshit. And, man, I wish I had the element, but next thing we know, little kids are flipping us off and shit. Little kids, like 6, 7, 8 years old. They hate us, but they want to be just like us. And next thing you know, the little kids that hated us and were running up to our table and trying to steal our little crosses and belts, next thing you know, they got Disobey shirts on. You go back and you look into Disobey videos. And you'll see little kids, flipping us off and dancing to my song Heel Turn that Disobey comes out to in their entrance, and then looking around, making sure their parents aren't watching. Everything that I said was going to happen over the past 2 years has happened. And I think everyone in the wrestling world, the independent wrestling world, they hate that. Because they've been doing the stuff that they've been doing for years, and it ain't getting the reaction that we get. Because what we doing is real. We're doing what they want to do. We're disobeying. We're changing the system. People went a long time without something real. The curtain has been peeled back for many years. And what we did was come around and yank the whole bitch off. Ain't no more curtain with us. Motherfuckers DM me and shit over stuff that we put out because they can't tell. They can't tell if it's real or not. Well, guess what? If you have to fucking ask yourself, then there's your answer. But when real shit goes down for long enough, some real shit is bound to happen. And I've been really busy lately, the last couple months. And I haven't been able to go to these Florida shows. I haven't been able to be around Disobey as much. So I don't really know what happened. I don't know what's happening. But I guarantee you I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Now, that being said, let me find my video right here. Pardon me. So, Disobey, like I said, they've been out in Florida, they've been out in Texas, they've been in Mississippi, and different promotions in Mississippi. We've been all around the Gulf Coast disobeying, converting people to our message, and collecting gold belt after gold belt. Look, there goes one right there. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know who the fuck this dude is. But he's like a poser Disobey guy or some shit. I don't know what that cameraman right there is wearing. But anyways, some shit went down in Florida this last show where Simon was in the middle of a match and something went down with this dude here, and Brandon Disobey got involved. So look at here. We got some bullshit, some fuckery is what I like to call it. 1, 2, 3. That'll be Simon dropping the belt right there, I believe. See, I don't even know. You know. So that's that as far as that went down, and then Brandon gets in the ring. He tries to interfere. This guy's fucking with him. Simon's getting up. I mean, when you get real shit going down, real shit's gonna happen, and you know, some dust ups happen, and people have discounted Brandon before, but bam, right there. That's the moment that I'm talking about. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about here, Simon gets up, tries to basically overstep his boundaries with Brandon, which he's done for a long time, and then Brandon looks like he done had enough, and he kicks his own brother in the fucking face. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen it happen, and it just is what it is. Whenever you're going hard and whenever people are fierce and leaders and trying to change things, you know, iron's gonna sharpen iron. But I never expected this to happen. You know, we were going so good and so strong for so long that I didn't think it ever ended. I thought the only thing next was to go to like GCW or maybe AEW or something like that. But Brandon kicked Simon in the face, and I've seen evidence of it. He came out of his mask. He's been masked for about a year or two now, and he pulled the mask off. Now, whatever. All of that being said, all I know is that this weekend, Saturday, September 16th, in Albany, Louisiana, at Into the Hornet's Nest, Pro Wrestling 225, Disobey is going to defend the Pro Wrestling 225 Tag Team Champions against these clowns, The Pillar. Now, I got respect for Dale Springs. He's talented. Him and Simon have a fierce rivalry going on that has gotten out of hand and more than I'm capable of really keeping up with. But I can tell you, I can guarantee you this Saturday in Albany, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be close to the situation. I'm going to make sure that that was just a hiccup in Florida. Nothing like that will happen again. We are the longest reigning 225 champions in pro wrestling 225 history. And it's going to stay that way. This weekend, be there at Albany High School, Into the Hornet's Nest. Disobey is going to defend the Pro Wrestling 225 Tag Team Champions once again. We'll be right back on track. We'll pick up the GSW titles again, and it's only a matter of time for one of our guys picks up either the SEC title in Pro Wrestling 225, maybe back to its rightful owner of JTM, or the Pro Wrestling Heavyweight title. You know what I'm saying? I don't see those tag titles going anywhere anytime soon. I don't see why they would. Because I'm here to tell you, just like JTM said it 2 years ago, whenever he introduced his brother, Defiant Simon Phillips, into the ranks. Disobey is about family. They've been a family to me. You know, I don't have much family, and Disobey has been my family. I've been a pro wrestling fan since I was 4 years old, probably. I grew up watching people like Razor Ramon, Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, you name it. I idolize these guys. There's a Stone Cold WWF, not E, blanket hanging over my bed to this day. Not embarrassed about it. And it's been one of the biggest prides of my life to help these guys become some of the biggest, baddest, most dominant, undeniable. I've had guys come up to me and said, look, nobody's doing it like you guys. We've had people pose and wear Disobey gear at other promotions and stuff like that. We actually have a dude in Brazil who photoshops himself in the pictures with us. You see 3 of them right there in the flyer? He'll Photoshop them in the back or in the side or some shit like that. Disobey is global. It's worldwide. It's in full effect. And it's going to be in full effect like you ain't never seen before this Saturday. Playbaw Podcast.